We have a very special guest today on the Bluffton News that's going to give us a preview of what's going to be happening in South Carolina in 2013. It's all coming up right now on the Bluffton News. Welcome to the Bluffton News. I'm Anneliza Itkor, and we have a lot to cover: business, entertainment, and of course, the latest local news. But first, let's start with Bluffton's current headlines. U.S. Representative Tim Scott has announced that as of January, his Beaufort County office will be located in Bluffton. The office will be housed in Suite 317 at the Beaufort County Center on Bluffton Parkway. Scott's staff will be holding weekly mobile office hours in the town of Beaufort and on Hilton Head Island. The location of these offices will be released later this month. The 113th Congress convenes in January. 36-year-old Mandy Drew, a former Town of Ridgeland water and sewer clerk, has been convicted of one count of embezzlement for siphoning approximately $118,000 from the town's water sewer fund between April 2009 and January 2011. Drew would take payments made to the town and fraudulently post them so they would not appear on the current year's ledger or in the daily deposits made to the bank. She pocketed the money and credited the customer's account either after the daily payment log had been printed or in a prior year in order to make her scheme more difficult to detect. Judge Carmen Mullen handed down a 5-year prison sentence to be followed by 5 years of probation. Drew must also repay $118,036 in restitution. The Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce's leadership training class delivered a $21,000 playground plan to Town Council last week that includes a wooden replica shrimp trawler with adjoining slides, ground cover for the play area, a monument marker, and personalized concrete handprints to place on the walkway around the area. Money for the project will come from sponsorships, donation, an oyster roast fundraiser, and the sale of the handprint squares. Pre-orders for the $140 per square handprints are already being taken, and a website will be up in the coming days to manage purchases and donations. The park dedication is expected to be sometime in May. And 4 Ridgeland men were arrested last Friday on weapons and alcohol-related charges. Ridgeland police stopped a vehicle at about 3 a.m. at the intersection of Main and Logan Streets because the headlights weren't on. The vehicle was searched and 3 guns were found after an officer saw a passenger attempting to hide a handgun. The handgun was taken from the passenger, a second was found in the vehicle, and a third was taken from another occupant's waistband. The serial number on one of the guns was filed off. Driver Robert Aquan Irvine, 22, and passengers Ricardo Leiden Jackson, 23, and Jaquad Shamaro Outen, 18, were charged with unlawful possession of a handgun and having an open container of alcohol in a vehicle. A 21-year-old passenger was charged with having an open container of alcohol in a vehicle, which is a misdemeanor. And after an outstanding season that ended with another trip to the state semifinals, Bluffton High football coach Ken Cribb acknowledged it was somewhat difficult to select the winners of the team's end-of-year awards. In the annual awards banquet at Hampton Hall last week, quarterback C.J. Frazier and wide receiver Marquis Weber were named co-most valuable players. Weber was also honored for being named Bluffton High's Boys Fall Athlete of the Year. Frazier and linebackers Rogan Ferguson and Kyle Waddell received the team captain awards. Cornerback Anthony Smith received the Student Athlete Award, and Ferguson got the Iron Cat Award. Several other awards were presented to varsity and junior varsity players, and the coaching staff was particularly proud of the solid GPA that was produced by all the teams. And here's what's happening around the state. Authorities are investigating the death of a 104-year-old woman they say had been neglected by her son. Police found Demetra Leventis at a Spartanburg home lying in her own feces with fist-sized bed sores filled with maggots. A home health nurse said the woman's son told her to leave when she asked him for help cleaning up his mother. Leventis was hospitalized for an infection, and her 63-year-old son, George Leventis, was arrested and charged with neglect. Late last week, the county coroner's office said the mother had died and that an autopsy was scheduled for later. A 19-year-old Benedict College student has died after collapsing at a nightclub in Mullins. Investigators said Kiavante Waters appeared to suffer some kind of blow to the head early Sunday morning and died a short time later at the hospital. Mullins police say Waters was involved in a disturbance, but they aren't exactly sure what happened. An autopsy has been ordered to help determine the cause of death and whether the case will be investigated as a homicide. A man has been shot to death in a car at an Aiken convenience store. Officers called to a disturbance at the Lucky 7 store around 7 p.m. Saturday found the victim dead in the driver's seat. Witnesses told deputies the man appeared to be arguing before the gun was fired and the shooter ran away. Investigators say they are trying to identify the suspect and figure out what led to the shooting. Police say the death of a 76-year-old woman in a Rock Hill home appears to be a homicide. Cora Campbell's body was found Friday after family members called police, concerned they had not heard from her in 4 days. Information as to how Campbell died has not been released, and authorities have not released news of the evidence that led them to believe she was slain by someone else. Campbell's death is the 7th homicide in Rock Hill this year. For more information on these headlines and more, please check out the media sources you see listed on your screen. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Coming up, BJ Frazier of the Bluffton Sun brings us the buzz in Bluffton with hot off the presses, and we have an exciting Bluffton business report courtesy of Shellie West-Hodges.
The smoked chipotle burrito is really good.
Yeah, my zesty cheesesteak burrito is great.
Are you familiar, Pete, with the phrase, don't mess with success?
Yeah.
Because this is not only messing with success, this is taking success to the cliff and shoving success over.
Success said, oh, please, don't do anything. Leave me alone.
These burritos didn't even hear that. They heard, oh, put, and that was it. It was just like, wah. Egg everywhere.
Wake up to sirloin steak and fluffy eggs with the new zesty cheesesteak and smoked chipotle breakfast burritos. This is how you Sonic.
Welcome back to the Bluffton News. Joining me now is BJ Frazier of the Bluffton Sun. So, BJ, I hear that settling our property tax bills this year is going to be a little easier.
Well, it's not going to make paying them any less painful, but you know, the Beaufort County tax bills are confusing, as most tax bills are, because they have things about assessment on it, and millage and rates and so forth. But Doug Henderson, the Beaufort County Treasurer, has done a fine job since he's been treasurer for the last 4 or 5 years. And this is one more thing he's doing to make it easier for a taxpayer to understand. What he's done is, on his website, he has an actual sample of a bill with bubbles on it. So if you click on millage, for example, it'll explain to you what millage is. And you can go right through your bill and so forth. So it's really a help to all of us. And you can see that at www.bcgov.net.
All right. So in other words, it's still going to be painful. We'll just know exactly how painful it's going to be.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. Well, speaking of property, what's happening in Palmetto Bluff?
Well, there's good news, and then there's more good news. As you know, the town of Bluffton and the region has been concerned because the development over there, it kind of encroaches on the May River. Of course, it's beautiful and so forth, but what the developers in the town have done is come up with a plan where the developers have agreed to build fewer homes along the river, and they're allowing them to build more homes in Palmetto Bluff in less environmentally sensitive areas. So it's really a win-win. And the more good news out of Palmetto Bluff is the fact that since it got founded 9 years ago, the building boom continues there. There are now 44 homes either in the process or being built as we speak, and some of them are quite large. They have one, I understand, that's 18,000 square feet. You could put about 10 of my homes in there. But that's all good news, and hopefully it points to a continued economic recovery.
That's great, because yes, Palmetto Bluff, it's a beautiful area, so it's great that they're developing it, but it's great that they're focusing on keeping it beautiful. And hey, this is definitely big news. Apparently our Beaufort County officials are working together for a common good.
Yeah, that's unlike Washington, where, you know, they can't seem to get anything done. The Beaufort County Council and the staff of the school and the school district and so forth, they had a bond out for about $37 million for school construction and so forth, slated to be paid off sometime in the future. And they got together and through smart budgeting and good planning and so forth, they were able to pay that off early, and that saved all of us, speaking of taxpayers, $400,000. So that just shows you when government officials get together and try to do something and plan well for it, they can get it done, and it's, again, good news for all of us.
Now, where can we find out more about this, BJ?
You can read it, all about it, in this week's issue of the Bluffton Sun.
Great. Well, thank you so much, BJ.
Thank you, Anneliza.
Coming up now, we've got Shellie West-Hodges. She's going to take a look at the growing business scene as 2 new establishments open their doors in Bluffton.
Hi, this is Shellie West-Hodges, and I'm here today for 2 great openings of 2 great businesses. We're getting ready for our first ribbon cutting at Pino Gelato Gourmet Cafe in Bridge Center, and then we're on our way to Jester Communications in downtown Bluffton. Okay, all right, 1, 2, 3. Yay! We just finished our ribbon cutting here at Pino Gelato, and I'm with owner Attila and his manager Christian. Now, Attila, tell us what brought you here to Bluffton, bringing Pino Gelato here at Bridge Center.
Well, originally I came to Bluffton because of a job offer. However, I'm here in the area for 12 years, and we both had the dream to open up a real European coffee house in this area that we always missed. So finding Pino Gelato giving us a perfect opportunity to actually create our dream.
Well, it's a beautiful place, and definitely a need that needs to be met here in Bluffton. Christian, tell us what you would like for the people in Bluffton to know about Pino Gelato.
Well, I think we try to open a place where everyone will feel comfortable and home, and we try to bring them the best of everything. So we're really very cautious about having everything without preservatives, fresh ingredients, and the finest quality there is.
Well, it's wonderful. We congratulate you on your grand opening and look forward to people coming out and patronizing you. Congratulations. Hi, we're in downtown Bluffton at Jester Communications for their grand opening and ribbon cutting. And here with me now is Jared Jester, owner and operator of Jester Communications. Jared, congratulations on your new business, and tell us a little bit about being in downtown Bluffton and what it's like having a business here.
We like having our business in downtown Bluffton because the folks that work here are from Savannah, Beaufort, Hilton Head, and from Bluffton, so we have a centrally located business. It's very conducive for business for us. It's a very creative environment and just a great spot to do business.
Well, it's very conveniently located. You've got the farmers market here every Thursday, and everything's in walking distance, and it's great to have another great business in downtown Bluffton. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's back to you.
Thank you, Shellie. It sounds like it was an exciting week. When we return, Senator Tom Davis gives us a preview of what is on the legislative table for 2013.
Tara's Men's Den, located beside Tara's Salon at the Moss Creek Village, is a full-service salon for men only. Open Monday through Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. We offer haircuts, color, highlights, waxing, and treatments for hair loss. No appointment necessary, so come enjoy a relaxing atmosphere for men only, and don't forget senior discounts every Wednesday. Call or visit us today. Our number is 843-837-5555.
Welcome back to the Bluffton News. Joining us now is Senator Tom Davis, our Beaufort County representative. Senator, with 2013 only a couple weeks away, it seems a good time to start talking about our state objectives for the coming year. Of course, property taxes are always a hot topic, and I understand that you are hoping to reduce this burden.
Yeah, Anneliza, it's an interesting issue, and I'm glad you did talk about the 2013 legislative session. We've got a heavy dose of national politics recently, and some very important things are going on in Columbia. And one of them right now is fixing what I think is a broken property tax situation. A few years ago, we went ahead and passed some legislation called Act 388, which cut property taxes on primary residences, which is a very good thing. But what it did is it also raised taxes on investment property and commercial property And so we need to take care of that and lower taxes on those classes of property too to make our area attractive for investment and for commercial opportunities.
Gotcha. All right. So moving on from property taxes to our schools, which are always another very prominent topic here, improving school funding for Beaufort County. What's happening with that?
Well, the problem has been historically is that Columbia has looked at Beaufort County and they've considered us to be a very wealthy area and not in need of any state assistance. And so the school funding formula is set up so that we get very little. In the 4 years that I've been in the state Senate, we've started to reverse that trend. We're now getting considerably more money for local schools from Columbia than we did in the past, which in turn takes burdens off of Beaufort County residents. And I see that continuing into the next session. But that really is one of my top priorities. First of all, to limit the amount of money that the state spends. And second of all, the amount of money that it does spend to make sure Beaufort County gets a fair share of that. Made some good progress the last 4 years in those two areas, and I look forward to increasing upon that in the next term.
Well, I know that the schools are going to be excited to hear about that because, as I'm sure you've heard, they just recently they're looking at cutting the extra days that they have to help out the students that are falling a little bit behind because they just don't have the money to do it.
Well, the problem is with education funding, too. I mean, you want to get your fair share for Beaufort County. To be honest with you, we also spend way too much money in schools on administration and supervision and bureaucrats, and far too little of that money gets into the classroom to help out teachers. So, yes, you want to go ahead and get Beaufort County to have a fair share of that funding, but second of all, you want to make sure those dollars actually get into the classroom and help students and help teachers. And we have way too much money right now going to bureaucrats and administration, so it's a double-pronged effort in that regard, Anneliza.
Now, a lot of what we're talking about is money. So let's talk a little bit about the importance of getting an appointment to the South Carolina Senate Finance Committee.
I was excited about that. That happened last Wednesday. The Senate had its organizational meeting. I was the only second-term senator appointed to Senate Finance. It's where money is doled out. It's where money is appropriated. It's how we decide how to tax. It is really the most important committee in the South Carolina State Senate. I feel very fortunate to be there because, again, I've got two objectives. First of all is to limit the amount of money that the state takes out of taxpayers' pockets. And second of all, the money that it does spend, make sure that a more equitable allocation of that money comes back to Beaufort County. I've got a seat at that fiscal table now, and I intend to advance both those objectives in the next session.
Well, it sounds like we've got a great guy taking that seat. Senator, thank you for taking time out of what I know is a very busy schedule to keep us in the loop.
My pleasure, Anneliza. Have a good day.
Okay, so it's a romantic dinner for two. Now, I've already cut some tomato. Time for the vinaigrette. You are gonna love this. Okay, we need some sesame seeds. My favorite pan. Now, what's really important is...
With Merilad cabinets, you'll discover function that's irresistible.
Good thing I'm not the jealous type.
With Christmas just moments away, entertainment reporter Rodney Vaughn has some suggestions that will boost your holiday spirit and was even able to snag an interview with the man of the hour, Santa.
And I'm coming to you live today from the WHI television studios in Bluffton, the Bluffton News. And I'm pleased to be joined today by the jolly old St. Nick himself, Santa Claus, live remote from the North Pole. Santa, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I realize this is your crunch time and your busiest week of the year. How are things going up at the North Pole?
We're busy making toys.
Making all kinds of toys, I'm certain. And you have a lot of helpers, though, with the toys.
Yes.
And how many elves do you have employed there?
There's so many of them, I don't know.
You lose track. I certainly understand that. That's awesome, but I know that you do need the help getting everything together, and you're so gearing up for the holidays. Is there a more popular toy this year with boys and girls? I guess the girls and boys just don't want the average old thing.
Probably the iPads.
Now, Santa, can you tell me what the weather's been like in the North Pole, and are you going to experience any difficulty with the sled during the winter time?
It's very cold, but the sleigh will get out.
I understand that the sleigh's going to get out. Well, we've had nice weather here in Hilton Head and the Bluffton area. It's been sunny and in the early and high 70s, so that's very good. And you travel the world over, but whenever you're not traveling and doing the Santa thing during the Christmas season, you guys, do you vacation at all?
Yes, we vacation around and we check on the little boys and girls, seeing whether they're good or bad.
I understand that. Now, one of the questions on the list from my children is, how does Santa know if we're good or bad?
Magic.
Magic. And, and I'm sure you get a lot of parents that write you letters and tell you throughout the year, as well as the children writing their request.
Yes.
That's awesome. It's hard to keep track of so many children, but I know you've been able to do it throughout the years. That's great. And one more question I'd like to ask you, Santa. Do you really drink Coca-Cola?
Yes.
That's a wonderful trademark opportunity for the company. Well, I appreciate you joining us today, Santa. I'm so excited to have this opportunity, and you've made me one of the happiest little boys in the world. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Rodney. And just in time for Christmas, our Bluffton News Pet of the Week, Liza. A terrific little girl, Liza was rescued from a high-kill shelter. She's approximately 3 years old and weighs just 6 pounds. While seemingly camera-shy, she is certainly people-friendly. If a pocket-sized companion is what you seek, Liza may be just the one to meet. For more information on Liza and other adoptable pets, please contact Brookshaven Animal Rescue at 843-757-7387. Thanks for joining me for the news program that is all Bluffton all the time. I'm Anneliza Itkor for the Bluffton News. We'll see you next time.